Welcome to Debbie's Grow, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear of favor. Former Vice President and the New Patriotic Party's 2028 presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has called on Ghanaians to put aside political differences and unite in addressing the devastating floods that have claimed lives and displaced hundreds across parts of the country. Speaking during a visit to some of the flood-affected communities in the Greater Accra region, Dr. Bawumia described the disaster as a national crisis that demands a collective action rather than partisan politics. According to him, the flood have left behind extensive destruction, displaced families, and claimed several lives, making it imperative for all stakeholders to work together in finding lasting solution. He stressed that the country's attention should be focused on addressing the flood crisis instead of engaging in partisan debate. He also appealed to relevant emergency agencies to work together in ensuring the swift recovery of victims and provide timely assistance to affected families. His comment comes in the aftermath of Monday's devastating flood, which followed a heavy downpour on June 29. The flooding, which severely affected Greater Accra and part of the country, claimed at least 12 lives, displaced thousands of residents, submerged homes and vehicles, disrupted businesses, and caused widespread traffic gridlock. So this is from the former Vice President and the flag bearer for the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He is calling for a collective action between all functions, residents, political parties, stakeholders, relevant authorities, so that we can fight flood. You see, flood issue is not something that should be buttressed with politics, if you ask me, because this is not an issue where you come and argue on who did what, who was supposed to do this, who didn't do that, right? This is the time where we sit down at the table, bring up solutions on how best we can solve this particular issue. Because trust me, we've lost a lot of lives. And if you listen to the Interior Minister yesterday, on the floor of Parliament, he said, this is the first time in history, since I think 1966, where something of this sort occurred. So it should tell you that this is a serious issue that needs to be taken seriously. This is not something where someone comes to say, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Your government is in power, so this is what we expect you to do. Like what I've seen with some particular political officials. If you want to do that, then we should be ready to lose a lot of life, people's properties to be destroyed. The more reason why we are saying that issues like this shouldn't be buttressed with politics is because it drives your attention from what you're supposed to pay attention to. It drives your focus from what is needed. So right now, this is the challenge in front of us. What do we do? How do we solve it? How do we prevent this from occurring? That is what we should be thinking about. One thing I've also realized here in Ghana is that the solution we bring on board is just for today. We don't think ahead. We don't think into the future. Because trust me, 10 or 5 years or 15 years to come, the population of Ghana will still increase. And so long as this is the capital town of Ghana, trust me, we are going to see worse than what we are seeing today. If we don't plan. And you see, that is the main reason why I kept saying that, so I wouldn't even go far. Let's take countries like Nigeria, for instance. Just like we have regions, they have estates. And what they do is that if this region, this is the capital town, say Accra is the capital town of Ghana, Accra is well developed, and then they realize that things are going on well here. What they do is that they transfer the capital from Accra to another region. And then they make sure that that region is well developed. Then they transfer the capital from that region to another region. And so when you go to Nigeria, for example, or you go to Nigeria right now, all their estates are developed. But when you come to Ghana, it is something different. And that is why when the 6 regions were created, summing up a total of 16 regions, people were happy because they felt like when you take Volta, then Oti was under Volta region. So the towns we have now that we claim to be Oti region was once a Volta area. So if you are creating a region or you are trying to separate these two, then automatically you are telling us that you want to develop that area. But if you separate it and there is nothing like development ongoing, then what is the essence of creating the region? Because the pressure here is too much. Everyone wants to come to Accra. Everyone wants to live here. Why? Because they feel like this place is good enough. This is where they can earn a living. This is where, they can better their life. But it's not so. For me, I believe wherever you are, you can still make it. And all the big schools, they are right here in Accra. We have the big schools in other parts. We have UDS in Tamale. We have UHAS in Ho. We have UHAS in Hohoi. So if you go, we have the universities there. But it is not compared to the one we have in Accra. If you go to Ho, if you go to Hohoi, if you go to Damba, if you go to Nkwanta, if you go to Tamale, we have other campuses. So let's say Winneba, they have their campuses in all this region. But it's not as if it is a built structure. So sometimes they rent schools, maybe senior high schools, a senior high school block, and then they use that to teach people. Then after that you graduate, and then you graduate in the name of Winneba. That is how they do it. But I feel like we can do better. That is the best way we can minimize whatever is going on right here in Accra. Because if the capital is shifted from Accra to other regions, people will love to go there. Investors will love to go there. Business moguls will like to go there because they would like to establish something. And then when it happens like that, gradually we are expanding and gradually we are developing other regions too. And so someone in the northern region wouldn't love to come here in Accra because they know that whatsoever is in Accra here is in the north. Someone in the upper east, in the upper west, in the Savannah region wouldn't love to be in Accra because whatsoever they are yearning for here is right in their region. And that is what should be done. But if you want to stand and then point fingers at people that this is what you're supposed to do, that is not what you're supposed to do, then it shifts our focus from what we are supposed to do as a nation. And what's the most significant thing that our leaders are supposed to pay attention to. So for politics, it's not needed. There are times where you can possibly tell that this thing you need to buttress it with politics. But there are issues like this. It's not something that we should be buttressing with politics because it doesn't make sense. People are dying. People's properties have been carried away by the rain. And yet, we are yet to experience worse than what we experienced on Monday. Because the Interior Minister said the next rain that we will experience is heading from Togo. I don't know where the first rain was coming from, but this one is coming from Togo. And yesterday, I fortunately came across a video. Flood in Togo, flood in Nigeria, flood in other parts of the African countries. And it was worse. It was worse. So it should tell you that what we will experience this year will be it will be worse than what we've seen in the previous years. So then what do? We prepare ourselves. And please, our leaders, we are begging you. You don't wait when we are in the rainy season. That is when you know that you take action. You know that this is a waterlogged area. People have built structures that are not supposed to be erected there. You demolish them. People have sold lands to others, which that land is a waterlogged land that does not need to be sold out. Those people, you arrest them. chiefs who does those involved in such insane activities, you arrest them. That is what we are supposed to do. You don't wait when it starts raining. Now before you see them walking in the rain with their walleting boots, going to talk to people, that wouldn't solve the problem. That wouldn't solve the problem. And to us, we have a role to play. If we don't stop disposing of refuse where we are not supposed to, then we should be ready. Because they'll come and give you mattress, they'll give you pillow, they'll give you a bag of rice, and that is not something that will sustain you for a very long period of time compared to what you've lost. So please, let's do the right thing, and we will all live in peace. Thank you for making time with me on the Girl.